Philip K. Dick's exhibit piece, which was a short story that was published in 1954, is about a protagonist who lives in the 22nd century, but he's a historian studying the 20th century, and he's created this perfect replica of this time period. However, one day, when he enters the exhibit, he suddenly finds himself having traveled back in time, or so he thinks. He's not sure whether he's gone crazy. And when he returns and he tells his boss about it in this very cold and seemingly very soulless, as even he describes, this very totalitarian world, his sanity is questioned. And they threaten him. They insist that if he does not shut up, that they will euthanize him and that they will destroy the entire replica. And of course he doesn't shut up because he figures his strategy is that he'll just go back to the 20th century, and once they destroy it, after he's escaped into the 20th century, not only can they not kill him because he doesn't believe they can get to him, if they destroy the replica, that will absolutely ensure that they will not be able to travel back in time and destroy him. However, once he does that, he finds out that somehow, whether this is some strange synchronicity and some kind of cosmic fate that he has, or whether it's actually the people who were conspiring against him but in disguise, you're not really sure. But he finds out that Russia has created a bomb in this story to destroy the world. So this story for me gave me chills, I would say, because it reminded me of I think it played on some of my worst fears as I was growing up, that mainly played into most of the fantasy that I created, whether it was mostly in storytelling. And one common theme was about usually a young hero who was, well, in this case, the hero was taken away from this very magical, perfect world, unlike this short story. Because neither of the worlds are really that good, but in my case it was about having descended from this utopia, this place of warmth, understanding, into this place where reality was completely uncertain, where you didn't know what was real and what was not, and on top of it you were being gaslighted. And to me, I always imagined that as being the worst hell possible. Like to Dante it would have been the icy lake with the devil. To me, that's always what I imagined as a kid, that's what it was. And there's a kind of, especially when he communicates with his boss, they get into this really philosophical argument, and where he tells his boss, he has basically, it's great that he has the spine and the strength, the courage to say this to his superior, but that he's a slave, and that he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's just stuck in basically his version of the Matrix, and he doesn't understand why his sanity is being questioned, and that he has indeed created something that is beyond maybe his own understanding, but there's obviously real meaning in it. It's not something that his mind has just fabricated. But even though he doesn't understand really the depths of it, of what happened, and the story just gets incredibly creepy. The more that his boss has that really smug attitude throughout the whole story, you just want to strangle him. It's that kind of smug gaslighting that basically it's sort of this strange mixture of sociopathy and stupidity, that common mixture that I've discussed many times in many of the worlds that Philip K. Dick creates. And he re-emphasizes it because I obviously think he's talking about even more aspects of not only American but of the global culture, of that kind of the very evil kind of delusion that you see in Fahrenheit 451 when he asks him how many fingers that he's holding up, and he insists that whatever the party says is correct, and there's a mixture of kind of sadness but also horror in this kind of world. You really feel like you've been taken away from something that maybe in a much older time there was a sense of beauty that maybe existed in older eras, a sense of purity or whatever it was that got taken away once everything became really it became advanced by technology and human development, but that actually existed in a way that was to people's detriment. And real progression ended up being ruled out, which is, I think, the saddest part.